Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Fishery and fish farming. Fishes are cold-blooded vertebrates that live entirely in water and breathe using their gills and also swim using their fins. Fishing is the process of catching fish and other aquatic animals. Fishes could be classified into two main ways, which are they could be classified according to their body structure, that's morphologically, and they could be classified according to their habitat. Morphologically, we have the bony fish and the cartilaginous fish. Bony fishes have their body frame or skeleton made of bone. They are therefore called the bony fish. For example, we have the catfish, the croaker, the tilapia, the mackerel, etc. Cartilaginous fishes are fishes whose body frame or skeleton is made up of a firm, shiny, and elastic substance called the cartilage. For example, we have the salmon, the sharks, the dolphins, dogfish, squid, and rays. Majority of bony fishes are found in fresh water, while majority of cartilaginous fishes are found in seawater. According to their habitat, we have the freshwater fish and the saltwater or marine fish. Freshwater fishes are the type of fishes that are capable of living and reproducing only in waters free from salts, like the inland rivers, lakes, streams, and ponds. Examples include the mudfish, the tilapia, the catfish, etc. They are found only in fresh water. Saltwater or marine fishes are fishes that live only in the salt waters of seas and oceans. They cannot live in fresh water. Marine fishes can be grouped into two. Those which live at or near the surface of the water are called the pelagic marine fish, while the second type are called the demersal marine fishes. They live at or near the bottom of the fish. For example, the mackerel, the salmons, the sharks, skates, etc. Fish and fish products can be used for food, livestock feed, fish oil, medicinal purposes, glue and fertilizer, aesthetics, articles of ornament, leather, and buildings. As food, fish supplies us with high-quality protein at a cheap price. It is good both for children and adults. As livestock feed, fish flesh and bones are used in making fish meal, which supplies protein and calcium in the animal feed. The oyster shell and fish bones are used for supplying calcium in the layer's ration. Fish oil. Fish oil is used for various purposes. Whale oil is used for heating and lubrication. Fish oil is also used for making soaps, paints, candles, drugs, wax, etc. For medicinal purposes, fish products such as cod liver oil have medicinal properties. It supplies vitamins. As glue and fertilizer, fish bones are used for making glues and fertilizers. As aesthetics, people like to have fish pond or aquarium in their homes for pleasure and enjoyment. As articles of ornament, certain parts of the fish are treasured as articles for decoration and jewels. Shells, scales, and teeth, especially shark teeth, have been used for making necklaces and other decorative items. Leather. The skin of cartilaginous fish like shark is tough and covered with small sharp spines. It is treated to produce very special leather called a shagreen. Crocodile and turtle skins are also made into leather handbags, belts, wallets, and shoes. For buildings, shells of oysters and periwinkle are sometimes mixed with cement and sand to make the walls of buildings stronger. The choice of the fishing method and equipment depends upon the area and the kind of aquatic animal intended for the catch, as well as the capital available for acquiring the materials. Systems of fishery. In Nigeria, the system of fishery can be classified into the small-scale fishery, the large-scale or industrial fishery, and the aquaculture. Small-scale fishery. Most local fishermen practice small-scale fishing. They stay in small fishing camps along the banks of the rivers, ponds or streams, or along the coast of the sea where they go to fish. The main features of small-scale fisheries are the use of simple equipment like wooden dugout canoes or bamboo rafts, catching of fishes by simple method like poles, nets, hook and line, etc. Small quantities of fishes are caught for family use in the small-scale fishery. Large-scale or industrial fishery. This involves using large boats called the trawlers to catch fishes in inland rivers, seas, lakes, and ocean. This is very expensive and can only be afforded by large companies like the Hebrew Organization, the Mesu Fish Company, the National Shrimp Company. The features of large-scale fishery include 1. It is carried out in sea or ocean where there is a large body of water. It is very expensive and needs good organization. A large quantity of aquatic animals such as fish, prawns, shrimps, squids, turtles, octopuses, etc. are caught. They are preserved mainly by being frozen in ice in the ships and brought to land for sale to major distributors. It also involves the use of large, complicated equipment like the fishing trawlers, cold stores, and refrigerated transport systems. Aquaculture. Aquaculture is fish farming. It refers to the growing or rearing of fishes in artificial or man-made water bodies known as fish ponds. The practice of aquaculture is mainly to produce large quantities of fish for people to eat and to produce beautiful colored fish to be kept in home aquarium and ponds as decoration. Fishing methods and equipment. Good fishing methods include the use of nets, hook and line or rod and line, fish traps, fences, fishing baskets, pots and guards, wounding method. In the use of nets for fishing, this is probably the most efficient fishing method because a net can catch many fish, both small and large. Most nets are made of fine cotton or nylon. Small weights of lead attached to the edges of the net help them to sink to the bottom of the water during fishing. We have different types of nets. They are the cast and throw nets, the lift nets, the sign nets, and the gill nets. In hook and line or rod and line equipment, the materials used in this method are the hook, rope, twine or line, the sinker, which is a heavy object that ensures that the hook stays below the water, the rod to which the line is attached, and the bait which attracts the fish. Examples of baits are small fish, earthworms, red soap, and groundnut cake. The fish, on seeing the bait, attempts to eat it and gets caught in the mouth or body. Hook and line and rod and line methods are similar, except that the hook and line uses many more hooks than the rod and line. Fish traps. Fish traps are of various types and are usually woven from bamboo, raffia, cane, oil palm or coconut palm fronds, or even wire mesh. There are V-shaped traps with a valve around the mouth of the trap to prevent the fish which have been caught in the trap from escaping. We also have the trigger traps, which is usually baited with some food, and as the fish approaches the bait, a delicate trigger is set up which causes the door of the trap to close behind the fish. Fences. Portions of shallow water are screened with fence made of raffia or oil palm fronds, bamboo or coconut fronds. The fences are made in such a way that fish can enter the enclosed area at high tide. When water is very much reduced at low tide, the fish can no longer escape, so they are collected by the fishermen. Fishing baskets, pots, and guards. Some fishermen, when fishing in ponds and shallow lakes, place clay pots, guards, and baskets in water to catch the fish which enter them. Wounding method. Here, the fishing gear can be used to wound the fish and then catch it. They are very useful for killing the fish, which struggle as they are being caught. They cannot escape when wounded. The wounding equipment include spears, arrows, knives, and hooks. Bad fishing methods. The use of poison, use of explosives, draining of water, electric stunning are all examples of bad fishing methods. In the use of poison, the introduction of poison to the water endangers human life and should always be avoided. In the use of explosives, underwater explosives are detonated, killing or stunning fish which float and are picked up. Examples of explosives are the dynamite and gun. In the draining of water, this usually involves draining the whole water in the pond and collecting the whole fishes left behind. This method is called total cropping since all the fishes in the pond are collected. Electric stunning. This method is used only in advanced countries like the USA and Britain. It involves passing an electric current into the water, thereby stunning fishes which swim in it. Preservation of fish. There are different ways by which our fishes can be preserved. It has been discussed earlier that agricultural produce are stored to preserve their quality and avoid spoilage. Fish harbor bacteria in their guts, and soon after the fish is caught, the process of decay begins right inside their gut and then gradually spreads to other parts of their body. As soon as the fish is caught, it is processed to avoid decay by removing the scales, fins, and gills, removing the blood by cutting the head, removing the contents of the guts, and washing with water. After the processing of the fish, the various preservative methods include drying or smoking, salting, refrigeration or freezing, canning, and fish meal. In drying and smoking, this is done to remove as much water as possible from the fish and thereby prevent spoilage by microorganisms. The fish are spread on locally made wooden trays or wire gauze and exposed either to the sun to dry or to a fire for smoking. Smoked fish, crayfish, and prawns can keep for a long time and they are very tasty. Salting. Common salt is rubbed all over the body of the fish and is placed inside the fish through the mouth, gills, and belly. Alternatively, the fish could simply be soaked in salt water. The fish is then dried in the hot sun. The salt, on entering the body of the fish, prevents the activities of the spoilage microorganisms. Refrigeration or freezing. In refrigeration or freezing, this involves storing the fish at a temperature below 0 degrees centigrade. This renders bacteria and other decay-causing agents inactive. It also causes water in fish to become frozen and as such unavailable to spoilage organisms. Fish stored in this way can be in good condition for a long time. Deep freezers, refrigerators, and cold rooms are used for this purpose. Trawlers use this method to preserve fish caught in high seas before they come ashore. Canning. Canning involves cooking the fish in special oils or paste and packing it in airtight cans under strict hygienic conditions, for example, sardines, mackerel, etc. Fish stored in this way can stay long without spoiling, since all spoilage organisms and air are excluded from the can. The fish meal. Fish meal is the grinding of small fish and fish parts into powder. This serves as an important component of livestock feeds. Fish farming. Fish farming or fish culture or aquaculture refers to the raising of fish and other aquatic organisms in man-made water reservoirs like ponds. The importance of fish farming can be seen in its ability to provide man with high-protein food and other products. It provides improved fish stocks with faster growth rate for rearing. The fingerlings will be rapidly multiplied and used in stocking natural water bodies. Fish farming provides a large harvest of fishes as baits in industrial and large-scale fishing. And also, residues from factories, sewages, and sludge can be diverted to fish farms. These are converted by fishes into useful fish protein and other products. In siting a fish pond, conditions necessary for siting a fish pond include: you should consider the water sources, the site, and the fish species. In water sources, the fish pond should be close to a good source of water. It should have appropriate temperature range with high content of dissolved energy. The topography of the chosen site should be flat. Clay soil of a neutral pH level is preferred. And in fish species, the fish species should have available fingerlings in nearby natural waters. Fish should be adapted to the location and be fast growing, and it should also have adults capable of laying eggs that can be reared artificially. Before we talk about the establishment and maintenance of fish ponds, we should know that there are fishery regulations. By fishery regulations, we mean those rules made to guide and control the activities of man towards the fish community in order to avoid harming the fish species. They include restricting time of the year when fishing is to be carried out in some water bodies. 2. Banning fishing during the rainy season when the fishes usually breed. 3. Regulating fishing methods for those that would have harvest mature fishes while young ones are protected. And 4. Issuing permits to a limited number of fishermen at a time. The establishment and maintenance of fish ponds. The fish pond is usually stocked with fingerlings of appropriate species. This system could be intensive, semi-intensive, or extensive. When it is intensive, it is commercially oriented. When it's semi-intensive, it is for sale and for family use. When it is extensive, it is just for family use. Some management practices adopted include weeding, desilting, supplementary feeding, disease control, and pond fertilization. In weeding, this is the periodic removal of weeds. Desilting is the periodic removal of silt deposits in the pond to improve light penetration and visibility and to allow in more oxygen. Supplementary feeding. In supplementary feeding, groundnut cake and palm kernel cake is used to supplement their feed and increase fish yield. In disease control, disease can be controlled through good sanitary conditions and proper aeration. Pond fertilization. By addition of manures to encourage the growth of small organisms like planktons that are eaten by fish, the pond is fertilized. We also have stocking rate. Stocking rate is the number of fish or fish species in a given area. Polyculture gives higher yield. Polyculture involves stocking the pond with fish species differing in their feed requirements.